3 True Scary Encounters with Strangers Stalkers _ True Scary Stories, English. When I was around 14 years old, my friend Sophie, who was also 14, and I were hanging out. Sophie was staying over for a sleepover. Our houses were attached in rows in the UK, with mine being the second from the end. The houses were connected, followed by a road leading to the back and a center for disabled people next to it. A path ran in front of our houses and continued past the center. One weekend in April, during our sleepover, we decided to take my dog for a walk. She was a nervous pit bull mix, and we were walking around our familiar neighborhood. As we walked, we noticed a person with their face covered and hands in pockets walking towards us. Feeling uneasy, we crossed the road. The same figure appeared behind us later, even though we were on a main road. As we continued walking, the feeling of being watched grew. We decided to cross the road again and head back home. My nervous dog kept looking behind us, making us even more anxious. Once we reached my house, we dashed inside, hoping to lose the person who seemed to be following us. We enjoyed the rest of our sleepover activities and went to sleep around 5 a.m. The next day, my mom asked if we had heard or seen anything the previous night. She mentioned an attack that happened outside the disability center nearby. The realization hit us that we might have been walking near the crime scene. Later, we saw the police and forensics at the location, confirming that something serious had occurred. Looking back at that incident now, I often wonder if our experience was merely a coincidence or if we were genuinely in danger. Even though I'm 25 now, the memory of that night still gives me chills. The house we passed by no longer looks the same, and we later found out about the attack on the woman, leading us to call it the rapist's house for years. Reflecting on the story, from when I was 11, my younger brother was 9, and we were homeless with our parents. Our dad, although capable, was lazy and manipulative. Our mom was depressed due to her own difficult upbringing. We met a pastor and his family through a local church, occasionally visiting their home for help. One day, the pastor tried to separate my brother and me from our parents, but I sensed something was wrong and managed to avoid it. This incident led me to protect my brother and take matters into my own hands to ensure our safety. As a result, we escaped a potentially dangerous situation, and our lives have since taken a different path. When I was 8 years old, I played with my dolls outside in a rural area of Canada. A man in a car stopped near me, claiming to be lost and asking for directions. He asked me to read his map and show him the way, but I felt something was off. I said I needed to get my parents, and he drove away. Later, the man returned and tried to approach me again, but I ran inside and told my parents. Looking back, I realized how dangerous the situation could have been and how important it is to listen to our instincts. Part 2. Sophie and I were in the midst of a sleepover, indulging in the usual activities that thrill young teenagers during the eerie hours of the night. As the shadows danced on the walls, we basked in the glow of the television, engrossed in spine-chilling horror movies that sent shivers down our spines. Popcorn fueled our fear, and ghost stories, whispered in hushed tones, added to the eerie ambience. Little did we know that a sinister presence lurked beyond our cozy haven. Our houses stood attached in the haunting rows of the UK's architectural history, forming an eerie symmetry that seemed to welcome secrets and shadows. Our residence, the penultimate one in the row, shared its grim secrets with the neighbor's house. The night, drenched in the mysterious aura of mid-April, dared us to venture out with my pit bull mix, a dog whose appearance belied her anxious nature. A strange chill infused the air as we set out on a path that would forever etch the night into our memories. The path meandered, embracing the macabre alignment of the houses, leading to the obsidian road snaking behind them. There, like a foreboding sentinel of darkness, stood a center for disabled individuals. It beckoned sinister thoughts, a dark center surrounded by an even darker world. Minutes stretched like eternity as we roamed, two young souls in the clutches of adolescent thrill, until an ominous figure materialized before us. A hood concealed their features, hands plunged deep into pockets, emanating a foreboding energy that made our hearts race. Instinct screamed at us, and without a second thought, we hurriedly crossed the road, seeking sanctuary in distance. Yet, as if the night itself conspired against us, the figure reappeared behind us as we looped around the block, its shadowy presence mirroring our steps. A creeping unease settled like fog, and the realization that we were alone in the stillness of the night gnawed at our souls. Tension stretched taut like a sinister symphony, underscored by the distant hum of the road, a stark reminder of our vulnerability. Anxiety wrapped its icy fingers around us as we contemplated the impossible loneliness. Despite the company of my dog, a gnawing sense of familiarity gripped us, suggesting that this sinister figure had been our silent companion earlier. Convinced that something otherworldly was at play, we dared a second crossing, desperate to escape the tendrils of dread that ensnared us. My pit bull, usually attuned to otherworldly forces, mirrored our trepidation, casting wary glances over her shoulder. The darkness breathed whispers of malevolence, and the weight of the night bore down on us. As our haven came into view, we sprinted towards it, the facade of normalcy now a sanctuary from the encroaching malevolence. We believed we'd eluded the figure, its dark intentions abandoned like a forsaken specter. But the morning sun brought chilling revelation. A gruesome attack had unfolded mere yards from our haven. Panic twisted within us, as questions without answers clawed at our minds. The Center for the Disabled had transformed into a nexus of horror, a testament to the inescapable darkness that lay beneath the surface of our tranquil lives. In the aftermath, the house that stood witness to the vile act carried a new name. One whispered in fear and disgust, the rapist's house. The echo of that night's malevolence lingered, forever staining the once innocent walls with shadows that refused to fade. Years later, as the tapestry of time unfolded, these encounters remained etched in the narratives of our lives. Unseen terrors had lurked in the mundane, and instincts had saved us from the clutches of darkness. The stories, a haunting symphony of survival, underscored the unsettling truth that horror can find us even in the most unsuspecting corners of our world.